Okay, we are now live on YouTube. So if you can start, Brittany, just by introducing yourself.
Sure, absolutely. Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Brittany Derecha. Please feel free to call me Britt. I am the Member Services Manager at Move United. I primarily serve individuals, our warfighters, excuse me, which is our veterans with disabilities, and our ambassadors, which is kind of a step above that, going out into the local community and recruiting other veterans. So, my pronouns are she, her. I am a female with brown hair and a bun. I'm wearing black glasses and a black sweatshirt, and my background is a white bookcase that is a virtual background. So excited to speak to all of you today, get to know Move United a little bit better and what we have to offer. So thank you so much, Sarah, for having us here today.
Thank you. And Jenna and Jonathan, if you want to say hello, you can. You don't have to.
This is Tom Miller. I'm using my wife's
okay,
account,
okay.
Jana. Yeah, sorry about that.
Hi, Tom.
Hey, sorry, but it's a little bit congested. I'm getting over a cold. A 30-year vet, so I'm interested to hear what you've got to say, Brittany. So thanks a lot for that. But I've been doing 3D printing for a while and then supporting e-NABLE through different projects. So that's me.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jonathan. I've been involved in e-NABLE for a couple of years. By trade, I'm a manufacturing engineer, so I get to do a lot of 3D printed stuff for kind of assistive technology, but to do specific jobs in the manufacturing environments. So yeah, I'm excited to hear a little bit more about Move United and hope to find out how we can maybe assist a little bit.
David, did you want to say hello?
Hello. I'm sorry for coming in late. I'm kind of just here spectating. I have a background in design and help design some of the devices for e-NABLE. So I'm kind of curious to see how the meeting plays out today.
Sure. Hi, Madison. Thank you for joining us.
Hi. Yeah, I was able to step away and listen in, so really excited to hear the talk today.
Okay, amazing. So I'm going to just share the presentation that I have for you all today, and I will share this out at the end of the session as well, so that you all have it for reference. Afterwards, I'll send it to Sarah, and then maybe Sarah, you can send it out to the group or anyone else who wants to have it for their reference. So I already said this, but for those of you who just came in, my name is Dr. Brittany Derecha. I serve as the Member Services Manager for individuals here at Move United. So that includes our membership department includes 4 different areas. My area specifically is individual members, and that is basically anyone who wants to be affiliated with Move United in the adaptive sports movement, but primarily any individuals, but also our warfighters and our ambassador program. So our veterans with disabilities, and then our ambassador program, essentially, we give these folks specialized training to go out into the community and recruit other veterans with disabilities. But the other areas within our membership department is group membership, which I'll talk a little bit about later on today, and our insurance and risk management department. The group membership and the insurance and risk management departments work pretty much hand in hand for our member organizations, and I'll explain a little bit about that. But that essentially makes up the membership department at Move United. So for our agenda today, I'll give an overview of Move United, who we are, a little bit about our history, and then I'll talk specifically about individual membership, group membership, and how you can get involved. I'm not going to talk about risk management and insurance today because that is getting a little bit too deep into the weeds. So we're going to keep it a little more superficial today, and basically about how you can get involved with Move United and how we can have a mutual partnership moving forward. On the screen, there is a photo of a wheelchair track athlete with a shirt on that says determination. So this is part of one of our signature events, which I'll talk about later as well. But we have a national competition that we host in July called the Hartford Nationals, which is open to youth and adults. And so this photo is from that event. So I'm going to start by just giving you a brief video introduction about Move United, just to kind of hype up Move United. It's a feel-good video, but this is from the Hartford Ski Spectacular, which is one of our other signature events. And it just gives you a little bit of insight into why adaptive sports is so important and the community that we create for it. So please let me know if you can't hear this. Hopefully you'll be able to.
I don't know if other people are, but I'm unable to hear it.
Thanks for sharing that. Let's see if I can.
Yeah, I can't hear it either.
Okay, whoops. Hopefully I'll be able to get this for you all. Whoops, okay.
If it's on YouTube, you can also share us the link after.
Yes, I can definitely do that. I'm going to try to do one thing real quick. And if this doesn't work, we'll skip the video for today. Sorry about that. Okay, let's try this. How's that? Can you hear that?
Yep.
Thank you.
Human. It's what we all are. Human makes us family. And there's not one of us who's perfect. We're all finding our way the best we can, even when the path takes a very different turn. Because it's in the not-so-perfect moments that we discover who we truly are and what we're made of. The strength to keep going, no matter what's standing in the way. The courage to face our fears and say, I'm doing this anyway. The ability to find joy, even when it might feel impossible. That's what makes us human. It unites us as family and brings us closer together. Because as humans, we're all perfect in our own ways. And that's what makes us even stronger.
Awesome. So thanks for watching that. That's just a brief little piece of insight into one of our signature events and why it's so important for us to create a community of like-minded individuals, but also a safe space for folks to engage in adaptive sports. Move United primarily serves athletes and participants who have physical disabilities. There is some scope outside of that, but that is our primary clientele. So it's really important for us to create those communities at our events, but also, you know, the other 363-ish days that we're not at our events so that they can find organizations in their local communities as well. So the Move United mission is to provide national leadership and opportunities for individuals with disabilities to develop independence, confidence, and fitness through participation in community sports, including competition, recreation, and education programs in more than 245 locations in 45 states. So sometimes when folks hear about adaptive sports, they automatically think Paralympics. And while that is a very small portion of Move United, we are truly focused on the recreation and education programs as well as the local competition. Our membership network includes both individuals and organizations. Our member organizations provide local, regional, and/or national sports programming to athletes with disabilities. These organizations have access to a variety of direct and ancillary benefits that enhance and foster the continued growth of adaptive and inclusive sports programming nationwide. So I think right now we have 248 locations across the US. So we really lean on our member network, which we call our member organizations, to provide the local programming. And Move United is kind of the overarching umbrella, providing resources, grant funding, et cetera, to the local organizations to help support their programming. So the one side of the coin is individual membership. This is a national program that gives athletes, families, veterans, coaches, educators, medical professionals, and supporters direct access to Move United's adaptive sports resources, community, and opportunities. This is independent of whether they belong to a member organization or not. Sometimes and oftentimes, folks are involved in both. So they might be affiliated with a local member organization, and they might have signed up for individual membership to create community in a virtual setting as well, or just stay connected with what's going on with Move United. It functions as a central entry point into the Move United network for any individual who wants to participate in, learn about, or contribute to adaptive sports. The membership creates a unified identity for everyone connected to our mission and provides a structured way for people to receive information, training, events, and support directly from Move United. So we noticed a gap in the industry that obviously adaptive sports are not everywhere in the US yet, although we hope to change that over the next few years. But some people just don't have access to adaptive sports in their local communities. So this is a great way for folks to stay involved with Move United without having that local connection. We all know how important it is for folks with disabilities to get integrated in a community where there are other people like them. But if that's not available, they can stay engaged with us through, online webinars, grant funding to attend our events. I'll talk a little bit more about our community groups later, but they can still find that virtual community that hopefully will help them feel like they belong in their local community until there is an opportunity for adaptive sports if there is not one there already. So again, why this was created, we wanted to create a member identity across athletes, families, providers, coaches, and advocates. Build a direct communication channel with individuals rather than only through our member orgs. Again, if we were only going through member organizations, we were losing a lot of the folks who weren't already affiliated or didn't have access in their local communities. We want to expand access to resources, training, and community building tools. Enhance data collection, engagement tracking, and member experience infrastructure. And support Move United's long-term vision of being the national leader in adaptive sports. So there are two membership types that we offer right now. One is free, as it states, there's no cost to join at this membership level. It's open to anyone, so we don't turn away anyone. So you don't have to have a physical disability. You don't even have to be affiliated with adaptive sports in any way to join our individual membership program. We have plenty of educators, military professionals, folks that just want to learn more about adaptive sports. They're part of our membership and we welcome them into our community. And then we have the flip side of that, which is our premium membership, which is at cost. Think more of a professional development model for the premium membership. Talk a little bit more about the benefits that are offered on the premium side, but there are some additional benefits that are offered that the free membership does not have access to. So there are some perks there to entice people to want to join if they want additional education, access, grant funding, etc. So right now our membership includes athletes, both youth and adult, parents and caregivers, veterans and military staff, coaches, educators, medical staff, students and emerging professionals, and many, many more. Again, anyone can join individual membership. We don't shy away from any specific individual or any type of career path, so everyone is welcome through individual membership. So we officially launched individual membership in November of 2023. In the first 8 weeks, we had 1,000 members. In the first year, we saw over 3,000 members, and in just under 2 years, we saw over 5,000 members. Currently, we have 5,521 members, and we're trending about 100 and 150 new members per week. So we're seeing exponential growth in our individual membership program, which just reinforces the fact that this is something that's needed and necessary in the adaptive sports world, and people want to engage however that looks like for them. So we are going to continue to grow our individual membership program, continue to integrate this into Move United until hopefully we have all or majority of the US and internationally as part of our individual membership program. Right now, we have members from all 50 states and 40 countries around the world. So again, we are rapidly growing and people want to engage with Move United and adaptive sports. So it's a great time to be part of the movement. So benefits of free membership. We have what we call the Move United Member Hub, and this essentially is our platform that folks can join to access all of our resources. And I'll tell you exactly where to find that in a couple of slides. But they have access to this platform called the Move United Member Hub. In there, we list a yearly promotional events calendar. This lists our grant opportunities, any giveaways that we do, how many, how much money, if you have to have a free or a premium membership to access them, so that folks know exactly what to expect and when to expect it throughout the year, so it's not a surprise. And then they're blindsided when we pop up with a grant that they would have wanted to apply for. We also do swag giveaways where we give away Move United branded items. These are super hot commodity. People love to, I'm sure, same at e-NABLE, people love to rep the Move United name and the brand. So they really appreciate the swag giveaways. We also have on-demand fitness classes. So these are pre-recorded fitness sessions for people with disabilities, mostly by people with disabilities. And they're available at the free level. Anyone can go on at any time. They're usually about 15 to 20-minute sessions, but you can do a couple back-to-back and make like an hour session or an hour and a half session if that's something that's interesting to you. We also have what's called member huddles. So these essentially are our community groups, and I'll talk a little bit more about these later, but this is a great way for folks to find like-minded individuals or folks like affinity groups that have similar interests as each other and just share information, chat with each other, reach out to connect individually. This is a great space to do that. We also have some limited resources in our free membership. This can include content, education, courses. We're always uploading more resources for our community, and we'd love to know what they're interested in so that we can tailor it to something that they would want to engage with. Member events, similar to this webinar style session, we host a member event every month. The topics change depending on maybe a request that we get from our community, or if there's a topic we would like to educate them about. Or some of our pro deal partners, which e-NABLE is, and I'll talk a little bit about, but where we have a mutual partnership that's beneficial for both of our communities. We'll have them sometimes come in and speak about their brand, their organization, and how they can help other individuals. Member Spotlight, we try to highlight at least one individual member each month in our member memo, which is our newsletter, but we also sometimes highlight folks on our social media platform as well, and then we tag them on their social channels. People seem to like this. They love to get the recognition, and then they love to repost it so that their community can see that we're highlighting and spotlighting them. So some great resources and benefits here on the free level. At the premium level, everyone has access to all of the free benefits. These are just some additional benefits that are available at the premium level. So expanded grant funding. We have some grant opportunities that are specific to premium members only, so the free members do not have access to this grant funding. So that is pretty lucrative for a lot of people who are looking for travel scholarships or equipment scholarships, or some other opportunities that they want to engage in that maybe they don't have the full funding for, that we could potentially support them with. We have additional member exclusive events that are only open to our premium members. We have pro deals, which I mentioned. This is partnerships with other organizations or businesses that give a discount or a prorated fee to our premium members at no additional cost to them. So I'll show you what this looks like, but you all are listed as one of our pro deal partners, even though technically you're open to our free members as well, if they were to engage with you to create a prosthetic device for them. Expanded resources, again, additional content, some additional education courses that are not just superficial. They dive a little bit deeper into the content or they are more specific. For example, we have like a Move United 101 course available to all premium members. But then we have, a PTSD for veterans course. That might be a premium member course for folks that want to learn a little bit more about PTS or PTSD for our warfighter community. So it just depends on what the need is, how it's being displayed, and who wants to utilize the information. As a premium as a premium member, we don't take it lightly that you all are investing in premium membership. So we do provide you with a premium member welcome gift, which we call our premium member pack. This has some Move United swag items in it. It has some Move United printed materials in it, and then it just has some goodies for you to utilize when you're in your everyday life. So that is just our thank you for being part of our premium membership and part of our community. And then lastly, we have early bird registration and priority access for select programs and events. So for our signature events that I mentioned earlier, our next signature event is the Move United Education Conference, which is happening in April. So our premium members got 15% off of their registration if they chose to use the premium member code that we provided them with. So that, again, is just another way to say thank you for being part of our membership, a benefit and perk to being part of investing in adaptive sports with Move United. So this is the Move United Member Hub login page. I've listed the website on the screen here. It's hub.moveunitedsport.org, all one word. But there's also an app for Android and for Apple that is just titled Move United. So if you wanted to download that, you could. They both function essentially the exact same. This is the login screen on the right that you'll experience. It says Move United, welcome to the Move United Member Hub, and then it will ask for an email and a password. If you already have an account, you can sign in. If you don't, there's a green register button under the sign in button after your login information where you'll be able to create an account. So I encourage you to do this if it's something that you're interested in. It's a great way to stay engaged with Move United, but I'll also talk about some of the other perks of joining specifically for you all as volunteers in the community and as you're trying to engage with folks who might need some either assistive devices or some 3D printed prosthetics. So this is a dashboard. As soon as you log in and you have an account created, it will take you to this dashboard. Right now, you only see two tiles called the Get Started tile and the Education tile, but there are many more that can be displayed on your home screen, such as membership, shop, which includes a Move United online store and the Pro Deal partnerships, events, so you can find out what's going on virtually or near you, and a plethora of other tiles that might be of interest to you, like a warfighters tile, where you can find out information about veterans with physical disabilities and some resources that we have in there for them. So essentially, when you click on this dashboard, there's a couple ways that you can navigate this screen. You can click directly on one of the large tiles. For example, Get Started. If you click on that, it will take you to a screen that gives you a welcome and what you can expect from the Member Hub. Or at the top left-hand corner, there is a strip at the top with a couple of the words that should match the tiles. So for example, membership is up here. You'll see a membership tile on the home screen. So you could select membership tile, or you could just click this membership word at the top and it will take you directly to that tile instead. So the bar at the top is just an easy way to find what you're looking for. If you want to scroll and see what's available, I encourage you to just do that on your page to see what's available and what might be interested to you to click on. So Pro Deals, again, e-NABLE is listed as one of our Pro Deal partners. You all have done a webinar for us, which I hope was successful for you. A lot of folks were super interested in what you all have going on, the opportunities that you have available, and the no cost is definitely lucrative for our community. So you are listed on our member hub. Again, this is available only to premium members, but we've put you in our member memo or our newsletter so that our entire membership has access to your 3D printing and your volunteers around the country should they want to get engaged with you. I know that we've only had Madison from the DC chapter chat with our membership, but if any of you would be interested or there's something that you would love for us to publicize for you, we can definitely chat about that. I'll have my contact information at the end so that you can contact me or Dana, who oversees our group membership, about any questions or any outreach that you would be interested in doing. But just know that you all are on our member hub, so folks can access your information, and I hope they do if they do need it. Member huddles is somewhere I think that you all could really shine and get a lot of clients. I don't know what word specifically that you use, participants, but essentially in our member huddles, these are our community groups. And within these member huddles, so on the right-hand side here, I have what this will look like once you decide on a member huddle that you might be interested in on the member hub. So for example, there is an educators member hub that I have listed here. So anyone who's interested in educators, whether they be an educator, whether they have an interest connecting with an educator, or whether they consider themselves an educator, can join this member huddle. It's self-select, so they decide and you all will decide what member huddles you want to be a part of. And then within that member huddle, when you click on it, you can see a roster of all of the participants in the huddle. There's a chat for all groups that do not include youth participants due to safe sport restrictions. We do not allow group chats to be available for youth participants. So if there's any groups such as athletes, for example, or youth athletes, they will not have a chat feature in their sections. But all of the other groups will have a chat feature that's available. And then you can also schedule events within the member huddle. So if you know you have an e-NABLE session coming up that you want to publicize and you think that some individual members that are educators would be interested in that, you can put that event in there for folks to come to, similar to your listserv that you all have. And then within the roster section, you have the availability to share your contact information or to reject sharing your contact information. So that would include your email and your phone number, or either or if you only want to share one, or if you're not comfortable sharing any of your contact information, it's automatically off by default. So you would need to turn it on if you did choose to share your information. But again, that's a good way for people to reach out to you if they're local to you or they want to get to know more about what e-NABLE does and how they can get integrated into that. So the types of member huddles that we currently have are adaptive athletes, educators, family and friends, medical professionals, military staff, professional development, sport providers, students, and warfighters. Again, those are our veterans with disabilities. So this is not a conclusive list or a definite list that we're going to stick with until the end of time. We have the availability to add any member huddles at any time. We also have the ability to add what's called a private group. So on the screen, you might see that some of these are listed as private groups. So for example, the Move United staff group is a private group, right? We don't want anyone to just be able to join the Move United staff group on here. So in a private group, we have more selection and autonomy over who gets to join that group. Sometimes we invite them to a group, sometimes we automatically just add them into a group. It depends. And then you have more oversight directly of that group. So this would be good maybe if we wanted to create an e-NABLE private group for your staff, for example. And then you all could share resources, events, etc., that are happening specifically for e-NABLE. And then you could go into maybe the educator member huddle and share out anything that you wanted to share. So it does give a little bit of leeway with the private group versus the public group and when and where to use those. On the flip side of individual membership is our group membership program. So these are member organizations in the local communities that I was speaking about. Right now we have 248 member organizations in 45 states. So we're working on getting the other 5 states on board to have member organizations in every state. But right now we have over 70 sports and recreation opportunities being offered. And we have all of those listed on our website. So you can find a location near you at moveunitedsport.org/locations. You can type in what sport you might be interested in, what your location is, zip code, state, and then it will give you all of the closest member organizations to you. If you search your location and nothing comes up, that means that a member organization is not within a 2-hour drive or 50 miles of your home location. So you would need to branch out a little bit more, and that's something that we're working on, trying to get more organizations across the US so that everyone has that 50-mile radius access in their home community. So by 2028, when the Paralympics are in LA, that 90% of the US population will be within a 50-mile radius of an adaptive sports program. So this is just a little screenshot of a map with all of our member organizations on it. You can see that some locations in the US are dry, meaning there's not a marker showing that we have a member organization in that location, and that's problematic for us. We want everyone to have access to adaptive sports, and the way that we do that is to continue to recruit member organizations across the US so that everyone has access to this. So what you can expect from member organizations, they are thoroughly vetted. They are offering safe programming with highly trained staff and volunteers. We ask for a plethora of information from our member organizations before we officially accept them and add them to our website. So they have to be a 501c3 charity organization. They have to have had programming for at least 1 year. They have to have a certain amount of insurance to make sure that their organization is operating in a safe environment. They are governed by their own board of directors. And then we offer them support, resources, training, and more to ensure that their programming is meeting the needs of athletes. Because what we never want to happen is that we publicize a member organization and then someone decides to try it out and then they have a terrible experience or an unsafe experience. So we really hold our member organizations to a high standard to make sure that everyone has a good experience when they're out in their local communities and that they want to continue to go back and engage in more. So is every organization a member? No, we would love to say yes, that they are. But there are many that we have not engaged with, or we don't have a connection with, or have not heard of us or reached out to us, or have specifically just not applied for membership. So if you participate with a program that isn't a member, or you're not sure if they're a member, please let us know. We would love to connect with them. I've included this photo essentially of a CrossFit gym at our education conference came out and did a session for us. And CrossFit is a great example. They have gyms or boxes all across the US, but not all of them are affiliated with us, or not all of them offer adaptive programming. So there are plenty of organizations out there that we've not yet connected with that could be a great member organization for our community that we would love to engage with. So again, if you know anyone or you're curious about someone and not sure of their status, feel free to send that information over and we would love to make a connection with them to see if this is something they'd be interested in. Okay, getting involved. So volunteers, there is a link on our website devoted to volunteers. That's moveunitedsport.org/get-involved/volunteer. The best way to get involved as a volunteer is through our local member organizations. That map that I showed earlier that had the markers of all of our member organizations, and on our website, the location finder will have all of the member organization information there as well. So we'll have their email, their phone number, where they're located, what sports they offer, and how you can get in contact with them, or their primary contact that you should reach out to. So the local member organization is the easiest access point or the entry point to volunteering. Excuse me. They also sometimes have a closer bond with the participants because they're seeing them more regularly than maybe we are at our 3 events per year that we host. So they would be a great option to reach out to in your local community if you're looking folks to engage with e-NABLE, or you need participants or you want to educate folks. This is a great first step. Other steps that you could take is our member memo. Again, this is our newsletter. If you have something specific that you want to share out with our membership, I'm happy to include that. I just need a small paragraph, maybe 3 to 4 sentences about what you want to share out, and maybe some additional information about how they can contact you about whatever it is you want to push out. And then we can include that in our member memo. Sometimes we can't always include everything from everyone, so I just like to preface by saying that we'll do our best to put it in the issue. If you can get it to me ahead of time, that is most helpful, because then that will guarantee a little bit better that I can fit you into the member memo instead of, at the last minute when we have, 20 submissions that we're trying to fit into one newsletter without bogging it down for our members. Again, member huddles are a really great way to get involved. You can lead a member huddle as a moderator, which is essentially you oversee the group. You create the events, you push out resources to the group, you handle any communication from anyone in that specific member huddle, or you can just join as a member and get the information that way, and that's perfectly fine. You can share out any information that you might have in the group chat, and then there's nothing for you to oversee as a moderator there. And then lastly, attending our events is a really great way to get involved, and I'll talk a little bit more about what this can look like at events, but it gives you some experience into how our events are run, but it also gives you some exposure to our participants who attend. Our education conference last year had 500 plus people in attendance, so it is a really high visibility event if that's something that you're interested in pursuing. And on the screen, there's just a photo of some folks raising their hands, looks like different ethnicities, and there's a heart on every hand. So how volunteers can support, use the member hub, number 1. Integrate individual and group membership into your program's outreach. Again, we don't know everyone out there, but we would love to. So if there's someone you're working with and you think they would be a good fit for us, we'd love to chat with them. Encourage individuals you engage with to join. Submit content ideas. This is a big one. We are always trying to branch out in the resources that we're offering folks. And I think that 3D printing and STEM specifically are lacking in our member hub right now. So this would be a great opportunity if you all have resources that you utilize, maybe one-pagers, maybe presentations, that we could submit on our member hub to our members about this is what 3D printing is like for prosthetics, or these are the steps to get engaged with e-NABLE. We're happy to put those resources in the member hub for our members to access. Help surface barriers or gaps that members report. You all are on the ground doing the work every day with participants, with folks with physical disabilities. You get to hear what barriers or gaps that folks are sharing with you. We would love to help try to mitigate those and create less barriers for entry so that everyone can have access to adaptive sports, to prosthetics at no cost, to support in their community. So we want to assist with that as much as possible. And then direct questions and potential members to the membership team. Again, my contact information will be at the end here for all of you. If you need to access it at any time, please feel free to do so. Our signature events. So we have three main events that we put on throughout the year. This does not include our 248 member organizations. These events are specifically run by Move United. And we do other events throughout the year, but these are our largest events that we're most well known for. So the Move United Education Conference, I talked about that a little bit already. Essentially, this is sports-specific sessions and classroom sessions where presenters come out and talk about a topic. For our sports-specific sessions, folks get together in a gymnasium, for example, and play wheelchair rugby or learn how to play sitting volleyball or whatever the clinic is teaching at that time. There are a plethora of events that happen at the Move United Education Conference, and the schedule is live right now. So if you wanted to take a look, that's available on our website. The dates are April 20th to the 23rd, and registration is currently open. So if this is something you might be interested in, I encourage you to take a look at the information, apply, and register if you're interested. This year, it's in Cape Cod, Massachusetts, but the location does change every year. So you can expect that next year it will be in a different location and so on. The second one is the Hartford Nationals. This is a national competition that athletes have to qualify for through other events to be able to compete at. So I think we have 9 or 10 sports that happen over the span of a week in July. This year it's in Grand Rapids, Michigan. This location stays the same every 2 years and then changes. So last year we were in Grand Rapids, Michigan as well, but next year we'll be in a different location. So that does change every 2 years. But this is a really great way for folks who are interested in competing to get involved in the Hartford Nationals. And then lastly, the Hartford Ski Spectacular. This one is specific to winter sports. And the location never changes on this one. I think we're coming up on our 40th year that will be at Breckenridge, Colorado. It's usually the first or second week in December. A lot of ski, a lot of snowboard, sled hockey, Nordic skiing. So a lot of winter sports happening at the Hartford Ski Spectacular. And each of them are just a way for us to create space for folks to engage in adaptive sports with us. So how you can participate, you can attend if you are interested in attending, whether you have a disability or not. You can still be registered as an attendee for any of these events. You can be a vendor where you pay for a table to have information on it, publicize the e-NABLE name, try to get additional participants for your community and your 3D printing work, and then be able to engage with them on site. Or again, you can volunteer at any of these events. There's a photo on the screen of a woman holding a volunteer badge and a bunch of t-shirts. We feed you, we give you some free swag, and we appreciate all of the volunteers that we ever get because we could not do any of these events without our volunteers. So just a few ways to get engaged at our events. And then I just want to wrap this up by sharing a few pictures with you that I think are pretty special to the work that we do. So in the top left, this is a wheelchair football athlete. We have a partnership with the NFL for our wheelchair football program. And it's just amazing the way that wheelchair football and wheelchair rugby athletes will just literally tackle each other, and their wheelchairs will be like spinning mid-air before they hit the ground, and then they just get up and keep going like it's nothing. So it's really important and impactful work to be able to create these spaces for folks to engage in the sports that they want to engage in. The middle photo on the top is a young child with an amputation. We don't let children this young participate in the Hartford Nationals competition that happens in July, but it is a very family-friendly event. So there are always children on site. We bring a fire truck out one day since it's usually super hot in July. They open up the fire hose so the water can spray all over the floor, and then the kids can play in the water in the summertime. So it's a really nice way to get the community involved. It's a fun way to cool off for them, but also keep the whole family engaged. And then top right photo is a photo of a challenge course that's 50 feet in the air, and it's a little bit hard to see on here, but there are 4 people with disabilities on the challenge course. So the one that's closest to the screen at the top, located right here. That person has an amputation. And then one person over here is wheelchair bound, but they're still able to move around with help from the volunteers. So it really is just eye-opening, oftentimes for our participants, because we hear from them afterwards, I never thought I would be able to do something like this. But when there's infrastructure in place, there's volunteers, there's grant funding in place to be able to help these participants get to these places, it truly can be life-changing for them. And then bottom left is part of our scuba program. So we have a scuba program that is in Texas through Brooke Army Medical Center and the Intrepid Center in Texas. And one of our Move United staff members, who's also a veteran with a disability, leads the program. And so every year he takes a group of veterans down into the ocean to scuba dive. And you can see this person here, or if you can't see there, this person here is a double amputee. So they have no legs, but 2 prosthetics, and they're still able to participate in the scuba program. So it really is a special program specifically for our warfighters and our veterans with disabilities. And then finally, on the bottom right-hand side is one of our ambassadors, warfighter ambassadors, who is water skiing. And so they have an imbalance that makes it hard for them to walk. So they're pretty much in a wheelchair most of their time. But you can see here that with some assistive device on their left leg, that they're able to water ski and are smiling and having a really great time. So these photos and many of the photos that our team takes just reminds me how special it is and how impactful this work can be for the folks that are participating in it, and why we need to keep pushing forward and creating more opportunities for them. So on the screen is my contact information and Dana's contact information. Again, I oversee the individual membership program, which includes individuals, warfighters, and ambassadors. And then Dana oversees the group membership side. So if you have any questions specific to member organizations, Dana would be the person to contact. My email is bderecha@moveunitedsport.org, and then Dana's is ddodge@moveunitedsport.org. So again, thank you all so much for having me. I truly appreciate it. I will open it up for any questions that you all have before we wrap up for today.
I personally don't have any questions. I wanted to thank you for presenting here. I'll turn my video. I'm in a library right now. That's why I'm.
Oh, cool. Gamecocks. Okay, let's go.
It's funny. I get that all the time, but I actually didn't go to that university.
That's fair. I didn't either. It's fine.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for presenting. I know that we are a small audience today, but e-NABLE is a little bit, I'm not sure how familiar you are with e-NABLE, somewhat loosely, I assume.
Yes, from what Madison has presented to me and some information that I've read on your website is pretty much the extent of what I know.
So yeah, I guess I'll kind of fill in, and Madison, Jonathan, and Jana, and Sarah, everyone else can kind of correct me if I speak out of line. But e-NABLE is a little bit less structured than your organization. And the benefit is that there's always individuals working on distinct things. The tricky part is that we lack the coherence that you're able to communicate kind of through your newsletter, through your forum. We don't have that type of structure right now. This might be how I'll phrase it. The thing that I thought was the most interesting was the newsletter and the hub. There's a tremendous number of international efforts by different e-NABLE chapters. France, Ghana, some here, working on different assistive devices. And we're kind of trying to make sure that as we work on a device, it's cataloged and documented so that other people can use it. My personal observation of e-NABLE is that the real core strength is a person wants to do a specific thing. Those adaptive devices typically don't exist. If you're like, I'd like to be able to open a door, that's one thing. But if you're like, I'd like to be able to sew or to ski, there are some terminations, but they're, as you I'm sure aware, they're either cost prohibitive or they're not custom enough, or if you need an assistive device versus a replacement, right? If you're missing 3 fingers or 2.5, or the termination is here or here or here, it's always different. And so Enable really, that's kind of the benefit of having such a diverse, seemingly disorganized network as we have, is that we're able to kind of fill individual gaps, and we're working on trying to document that so efforts are not recreated. So we have some very low tech, simple powered hands, and we're trying to kind of culminate those into some documentation so that someone else can build on it and do EKG or voice or whatever. That's kind of our strength as I've seen it over the years. I've been in and out of Enable for the past decade or so. And the real strength that I've seen is where a group of people build something for someone, and then they adapt it for a group, and then we document it, and then we start spreading it. I would love to keep in touch. If you send out your email, I'll be sure to keep an eye on it. Other than membership, is there anything that we can do for you, I guess is my question.
Just spreading the word, I think, helps us a lot. If there are any, I see your listserv, and I know that you all are so active in your communities and doing projects and sharing information, and I love to see that. We get requests all the time of, I want to do this, and I don't know how to get involved, or I need access to this, but I don't have enough money for it. So I try to keep you all in our minds so that if anyone comes across our desks, that we can facilitate that connection to you all. But just spreading the word of Move United, getting integrated in the member hub, sharing your resources with us so that we can share them with our community is super helpful, because we never know who might need access to that information. Sometimes we get folks who have newly acquired disabilities, and sometimes we get folks who are born with their disability. And those are two very different populations of people and how they function and engage with the world. So some people don't know what they don't know. So we try to just share as much information with them as possible so that they can make the best decision for themselves. So just keeping us in mind and then passing any connections our way or letting us know what you need is really the most helpful to us.
Definitely.
Thanks.
And that's also why I brought that up earlier, is because my suspicion is that the thing that we do better at is something that your organization almost doesn't engage in at all.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't do anything with equipment, really. We don't do anything with assistive devices. We really just connect people with resources. So we could also be doing a better job of that as well. But there's also
it's almost impossible. The number of organizations that I've seen come and go that make custom equipment. TRS prosthetics. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them. They're listed as a partner on, I think, your website. They were bought out and carved up. So like it's so hard to make like a termination for riding a bicycle. It's so hard.
Yeah, and with LA 28 on the horizon, we're going to see an influx of people wanting to engage in adaptive sports or wanting customized equipment or, additional assistive devices that don't exist yet. And we need to be prepared for that influx. So we're doing our best to do that right now, but, we can only prepare as much as we can before it actually gets here.
Totally understand.
Yeah. But thanks, David. That's super helpful information. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much. That was a wonderful presentation, and I mean the organization that you have is incredible. e-NABLE is kind of like David said, all over the world, and
thank you so much.
Not quite so organized. And sometimes with these meetings, it's all volunteers. It can be hard to get people together in the middle of the workday. I know a lot of people were really excited about your presentation and will be watching the YouTube version of it. But thank you. That was great. And please keep contact. I've been a coordinator kind of behind the scenes with e-NABLE for a few years, and it's part of what I do is when people come and post on the hub looking for different resources and have different needs, it's my role to connect them with that. So yeah, feel free to, I'll drop my email in the chat. And actually, you have my email already, but I'll drop it in the chat again. And we have another meeting coming up for new members, and it's run by an engineering professor at Brandeis. So I know he wanted to come to this meeting too, but was in another meeting right now. But for anyone who's here who wants to come to the next meeting and say hello to Ian, I know he's really interested in what you do as well. So that will be starting in 2 minutes. Where is okay. So
Well, Sarah, I will send you the presentation
Okay.
so that you can
Yeah.
send it out to your membership
Okay.
or anyone that wasn't able to attend today.
Yeah.
And then if anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out at any time to me or Dana. We'll
Okay.
be happy to engage.
Okay, so my email's in the chat again,
Awesome.
and here's the Zoom link to the meeting that's starting in 1 minute.
Thank you so much for having me. I
right.
truly appreciate it.
Thank you so much. That was an amazing presentation. We really appreciate it.
Thanks. Have a good one.